Welcome to another episode, everyone. Sentinel State Prison. The whites and the Southsiders were getting along, as they do in most prisons. Sometimes they stick together. Sometimes they have rolled together against other races, against the blacks in particular. It's not prevalent, but it has happened. Either way, the whites and the Southsiders, they normally get along on the prison yards and even in the Los Angeles County Jail. However, in Sentinel State Prison, they had a little war, a clash, because the Southsiders there, they were a strong group, structured, but the whites were also. The whites were sorely outnumbered. I would say that the Southsiders outnumbered them at least 5-1, maybe 6, 7, 8-1. There were not a lot of whites on the yard, but there were indeed a lot of Southsiders on the yard. And the Southsiders, they're regulating some things. They have things coming in. Now, bear in mind, this is a level 3. Sentinel is a level 4 now. It fluctuates. It goes from a level 3 to a level 4. It goes back and forth. At this time, it was a level 3. So the rules on a level 3, as I have alluded to before, are a lot more lax than they are on a level 4. You can get away with some things on a level 3 that you would never get away with on a level 4. And the Southsiders are raking in the money. They're bringing in the dough there on the yard in Sentinel. The blacks have their own product as well. They're making money. The whites, not so much. They don't have much going on. They don't have much coming in because, again, they're not that deep. So they have no control of the prison whatsoever. The Southsiders are dealing with them and looking out for them, to a certain extent, but they are having business dealings with them. The whites are not necessarily dealing with the blacks on the yard. They're really dealing with the Southsiders when it comes to whatever product. Fine. One Southsider in particular, let's call him Loco. He lived in 3 buildings, and so did a white. Let's call him Woodpile. Loco and Woodpile were neighbors, and they seemed to be cool at first, just like the Southsiders and the whites in general were cool on the yard. This is a common occurrence, again, in California prisons and even in the county jail system. But somehow they began to have a falling out of sorts. Well, Loco said that Woodpile was over there making too much noise at night. I've heard this before. I've seen situations over this before. Again, it's a very fine line, this respect thing. And apparently, Loco has taken umbrage to the noise that Woodpile is consistently creating over there at night. Now, I don't know how accurate this is coming from Loco, because again, the woods have structure as well, not like they did in High Desert. They were not, I've never seen anything like the woods in High Desert. Probably never will again. But these dudes were okay, especially for it being a level 3 yard. They seemed strong enough. Again, just sorely outnumbered by every group. But they seem to still have some sort of structure. And so I know that Woodpile would know better than to be over there making noise at night. This is a no-no in prison. Once the lights go out, certain time, once they lock the cell doors, it's over. You can hear a pin drop in there because people have to get up early the next day to carry on with their business. and keep security on themselves early. So you never hear it. And anytime there's a neighbor who's a bit rambunctious, it's quickly quelled because no one wants to deal with it. And so Loco said that he had asked Woodpile, could he quiet down? And Woodpile, who Loco deemed to be a fiend, Woodpile was indeed using. And again, he was having dealings with the Southsiders because they had nothing coming in, did the Woods. And so Loco knows this, that Woodpile, he probably considers him a bit of a weakling, that he has this habit and that he has to come to his people to get it. And so Loco again lets him know, man, you need to calm down with that noise over there. I'm gonna tell my people to stop dealing with y'all, man. You tripping. Eventually, Loco goes and tells another Wood. I don't know if he got permission from his shot caller. And he did not talk to another Wood shot caller, just a Wood that he was cool with. And just explain the situation, man. This dude, he's being loud, a bit disrespectful, and I just approached him before taking it to my people or my shot caller or making a big deal about it. I just approached him first and said, man, can you calm down? Just, man to man. And that happens. You don't got to go to your shot caller about everything. You a man first. And Loco said, I'm a man first. And I just approached him and said, hey, man, quiet down over there late at night. I have business to take care of. Early in the morning, I got to get up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., put my shoes on, roll my mattress up, do my burpees, be accounted for before breakfast. So you keeping me up, it's not going to work. And the Wood, again, sort of shunned Loco. Basically told him, he was in his cell. The Wood didn't back down and perhaps felt like Loco was trying to be aggressive with him because of the situation that the Woods are in there on the yard. Again, not being known as a strong group, not on this yard, and they're not that deep, not whatsoever. But this Wood is apparently holding his own. And so the Wood that Loco went and talked to about this particular Wood, he too pretty much took the Wood's side and said he had talked to him, but, he can't tell another man what to do inside of his cell. And it seems like he got the impression as well that Loco was just trying to push a line, just being aggressive for no reason. So eventually, Loco took it to his people, to his shot caller. And his shot caller decided, well, since we already asked for them to have him quiet down, and they didn't want to do it, and they asked to move the Wood from that cell and move him somewhere else. And the whites stood their ground and said they're not going to move him. In fact, the Wood was in that cell before Loco, was in his cell. So he has priority. So if anyone is going to move, it's going to be Loco. Big words coming from just a handful of whites going against the mighty Southsiders. What's to come of this? Well, the Southsiders said, eventually, we want him off the yard. We have reason to believe that he's suspect in dealing with the police around here on the yard. Anyway, we don't really like this dude, man. We asked y'all respectively to move him. He's making noise over there. He's being loud with my people. My people asked him to quiet down. He's acting like he doesn't have to. You know what? Y'all tripped. Y'all Woods and lost y'all mind. You know who we are? Get him out of here. Now it's not even about moving him. Now we're going to up the ante. Since y'all didn't want to just move him to another cell, now we want y'all to get him off of the yard. Well, they're trying to assert their dominance. everyone was wondering, well, what would the Woods do? I was assuming they probably wasn't going to get him off the yard. If they would not even move his cell and stood their ground, they're certainly not going to remove him from the yard. For what? Just because y'all said so, you have no proof that this man has done nothing, has done anything wrong that's worthy of a removal. And as I suspected, the Southsiders, they stood their ground. They told the Southsiders they were not going to remove Woodpile from the yard, that it was not warranted. He had not done anything. Certainly, the Woods understood that this meant war, that this meant, as I have explained before, when a faction comes to you and says they want someone removed for whatever reason, and you don't do it, you refuse to do it, it's going to go up. It's an immediate war, immediate riot. Those are just really the unspoken rules. And so certainly the Woods understood that once they stood up to the Southsiders and said, we're not going to remove him, we don't feel like there's a reason. You haven't given us a reason. It's only a few of us here on the yard, they're probably thinking, as it is. We're not about to brutalize our people and get them off the yard and really shorten, our numbers. There's only, 13, 14, 15 of us on the yard. 17, 18 Woods on the yard. I'm talking about 1,500 people or something. I mean, they don't have a chance. So they're not about to get rid of one of their people unnecessarily. And they felt like the Southsiders, from the way that it was explained later, were trying to bully them. We're just pushing up on them for really no reason. Had no cause to ask for them to viciously remove their people from the yard because he got a little loud in the cell and stood up when the Southsider came and approached him and told him, he told him to quiet, asked him to quiet down or whatever. He didn't stand up for that. He just said that, he felt like he wasn't being loud, but, I guess maybe he would be mindful of it or whatever. That wasn't good enough for the Southsider. And eventually they wanted him moved to another cell, but he was in that cell first. So this all led the whites to believe that the Southsiders were just trying to buffalo them. So they decided that they were just going to stand up and hope that since they stood up, that would just be the end of it. They tell the Southsiders, man, come on, y'all know it's no need to remove him. Y'all got y'all structure. Y'all know that's not right. Asking us to remove him. He hasn't done anything. Just chill out. They thinking, I guess if they approached them like that, everything would be good. But they were wrong, because they told the Southsiders, man, we're not going to remove him. He ain't done nothing. And the Southsiders said, all right, man, cool. And the next day on the yard, Loco himself came out with a weapon. Hell, most, if not all, of the Southsiders had weapons. They were about to send a message. And Loco approached his neighbor, Woodpile, first. It was personal. He withdrew his weapon, whipped out, and stabbed Woodpile about the neck area, about the face area. But Woodpile, having already shown his mettle and that he was unafraid, well, he too had a weapon and withdrew it and began to return fire upon Loco. And they both were leaking. I couldn't really believe it, because it was only a few Woods on the yard. And I'm thinking, this is not about to end well for the Woodpile. These Southsiders are about to pulverize them, demolish them, It's only, again, no more than 20 woods on the yard. And at this time, yard time, is half of them on the yard. The other half don't come out until later on that day or whatever. They run in the top tier yard, the other half on the bottom tier. So it's only half of the numbers that they have on the yard, is only half of them that are actually on the yard at this time. But the Southsiders, meanwhile, they have the yard full. And I'm thinking, oh man, all these dudes about to leave out of here in a body bag. But Loco and Woodpile, they're crashing. They're going at it. Didn't last too long because, the Southsiders ran over there and they got on Woodpile. They got on Woodpile pretty good. And another white jumped in, to my surprise, and he was swinging his weapon. He did not leave Woodpile for dead. But they were really no match. They were far outnumbered. The Southsiders had weapons. The Woods had weapons as well. But they were just outmanned and outmatched. And the Southsiders were bloodthirsty. They thought that they had been disrespected, that they had asked them to handle their people, and that they had the nerve, the audacity, the unmitigated gall to stand up and tell them to their face that not only are they not going to move his cell, they're not going to remove him from the yard either. For what? And so the Southsiders said, just because we said so, basically. Once we get to that point where we said we want him out of here, that's it. We don't want to talk about it. Get him out of here. Or else. And so, again, the Woods knew what were coming. They knew what was coming. That these dudes were going to attack. I would have known that. Once someone says, we want this person off the yard, they're going to have their reasons that they bring this to you and want this person off the yard. They know you're not just about to viciously remove your people, your homeboy, your comrade, just because they say so, and it's not warranted. So when they come, they're making their case about what this person did that warrants this person to be removed from the yard. And so when they're making their case, they feel like this person has done whatever that merits the removal. And if you don't feel that same way about what this person did, then you're not standing on business as far as they're concerned. And you're not going to rectify what this person did that caused them to want him removed. You're not going to rectify that. Leaving them feeling disrespected by whatever it was that had transpired. And it's never resolved. So once they feel disrespected by this person, and this person is still on the yard, because they gave you the opportunity to remove the person, your own homies, his own faction, his own race, whatever, and you don't do it, they're not going to stay on the yard with this person that they want removed, because this person did something, whatever it was, that disrespected their whole card, their whole race, or whatever, as far as they are concerned. And once we ask you to remove him, because we don't want to look at his fucking face, we don't want him here. We see him, we're going to attack him. We don't want him here. Get him off the yard. We want him off the yard. Meaning we would do it ourselves. Whatever he did, it warrants that. However, there's a protocol. Protocol is you allow that faction, his tribe, his community, his culture, his homeboys, his hood, to remove him, to take care of it. You take the issue to them, you tell them, and then they crash you. Your own homeboys got to get you off the yard. for flouting the rules and the protocols. But if they don't get you off the yard for whatever reason, once it's brought to their attention, they may have love for you. You might be the OG homie. They might be in fear of you. They might know, man, we do something to the homie, we got to go to the hood after this. What they talking about? They don't understand. This the G homie in the hood. We stab him up, shit. Whatever their reason for saying no, they know, they should know, understand that once you say no, for whatever the reason, it may be justified. You may have your reasons for not getting them off the yard. In this case, the Woods were probably certainly justified not removing them from the yard. For what? But once it doesn't happen, once you say no and refuse, just know, understand, it's going up. It's going to be a clash. Boom, boom, bam. It's going in immediately. Just know that. That's all I'm saying. It's going up. And that's what happened. They were going at it, and they did, get the best of the Woods, let's say. There was only a couple of Woods stood down. They didn't get involved, or they were trying not to get involved, but the Southsiders got on them too. But a few of the Woods, I'm not trying to make it seem like it was just so surprising to me that they stood up or fought back. But, it sort of is just because of the position that they were in. I thought that they was going to fold immediately. I didn't think that they was even going to stand up and refuse to move his cell, much less refuse to move him from the yard, knowing that they know what's coming once you say you're not going to remove him from the yard, and this is what has been requested of you from whatever group for whatever reason. They understand the rules and the protocols. It's going up. And with that in mind, they still said, we're not doing it. I have respect for them after that. The Southsiders, they also stood on what they believed in. They said we wanted them off the yard for whatever reason. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they had other reasons as to why they wanted him off the yard, because that's a serious thing to ask somebody to remove someone from the yard. You got to have some reasons for that. To ask someone to take down their numbers, to remove their homeboy who they work out with every day, eat with, going to visit with, they chill with, in the cell with them. And you talking about, man, get your homeboy out the yard. Stab him up and get him out of here for what? Because we said so. No. Nope. You got to have a reason. And so the Woods felt like the Southsiders' reason wasn't ample enough. The Southsiders felt like it was. We said, get him out of here, and y'all didn't. And the Southsiders did attack. Loco did attack Woodpile right there on the yard. He wanted him off the yard, clearly. And Woodpile, he responded. He wasn't a coward. He attacked back. But when he did, the Southsiders got on him and he didn't have a chance. And it was over. What's the fucking lesson? Many lessons here. Biggest one, as always, is to stay the hell out of jail, out of prison, out of the system. Just not worth it. Stay safe and stay free, people.